It's a Ponzi scheme, if you ask me, to a certain degree. I think the government should not be directly involved in trying to force people to have a particular health care and set the price of the health care. We've seen this happen time and time again. You can look at the Canadian healthcare system. When you try to socialize medicine, it doesn't work well. I don't know why anybody think it makes sense. I mean, you could just do simple math. You compile 370 million people or so, or 350 million people into a particular healthcare system, and everybody has the same equal coverage. Then when someone has a catastrophe that happens, the system will be flooded. Everybody is going to run to the hospital for any given thing if it's all free. You see that happen with people who are illegally in our country, people who are on food stamps and welfare. As soon as they get a ding or they get an ache and a pain, they run straight to the emergency room. And what does that do for the people who are really paying into the system and they really need help? The system is clogged. I really do think we can improve on the healthcare in the United States of America. I think we should try to do our best to make it affordable for everybody. But at the end of the day, you cannot socialize it because it doesn't work.
You know, I'm curious on your thoughts on this. I sometimes get a lot of heat for this. Unfortunately, I think we might be headed down the road to single-payer healthcare, in which case my response as a conservative is, well, okay, cool. Well, you don't get to do a lot of things. I'll be going slapping Big Macs out of hands, cigarettes out of people's mouths, because if we're all paying collectively, would that diminish what you're able to do in a free society, considering that, well, I don't want to have to pay for all of the medical missteps that other people have made? Is that a fair assumption?
Well, yeah, that's what happens when you socialize it, right? A single payer system. How do we maximize? We've seen those go into our system and figure out how do we maximize the taxpayer dollar. You should do the same thing with healthcare. This is what many healthcare providers are doing, and it's benefiting certain people who want to be healthy and who live a healthy lifestyle. But look, if we're all going to be responsible for the central system of Medicare or care for our medical needs, then we need to make sure it's maximized. So therefore, I think that if the government going to put their hands in that, then we need to start controlling whether people are consuming these things that we know that are causing them to have cancer, causing them to be obese, causing them to have all of these medical issues. And we also need to look at the Fauci ouchie, if you know what I'm saying, the injections they're giving our young people. Well, what's the residual effect of that? How many illnesses or diseases are caused from things that are not properly measured or researched? Then we have to look at all of that. And the very people that want to push this, they are probably not going to be okay with the mandates that come along with it. That's the problem when you have government take over, because on both sides, whether Republicans want it or Democrats want it, when you have the government take over, now that the government can now control what you do in your personal life. And I think people doesn't want that. You either want the government to control you or you want autonomy. Autonomy is a risk of freedom. And, you know, the government controlling is going to be the risk of you not having any freedom at the betterment of what the government decides for you. And so I think that in reality, we have to balance the two. You know, I think that it's hard to have people just caught on a limb where they're out struggling to have medical needs provided. I think they're taking it. These medical institutions are taking advantage of people. I mean, you name it, it's there. But I really do believe that we need to find a happy medium. And if both sides had a clear, fair evaluation of love for the American people, I think that we could come to a conclusion. But instead, they just fight each other the whole time and we get nothing done.